Hello and welcome. Thank you so much for joining me. Sorry if that was a little clunky. My name is Inbaal. I'm a psychic, I'm a tarot reader, and I'm a witch. And I'm here to welcome you into the mystical world. We're going to have a lot of fun in the coming hour. We're going to enjoy everything that the spiritual world and the tarot has to offer. I'm broadcasting at you live from right here from my home in the UK. And I would love to know where you are, where you're awakening your psychic gifts from. I'll tell you a little bit about my story, and we're going to share some tips and tricks, mine and yours, on how to awaken your own psychic ability. And hopefully, we'll be able to do a few little readings here and there, you have as I pull out my tarot cards, and we'll see where we go from here. If you're new to the channel or if you're new to the show, you should know that the Bigfoot Outlaw channel or the Bigfoot Outlaw network touches on all different parts of the esoteric or the spiritual world. So we've got programs with psychics and with witches. We've got programs about crystals. We've got programs about prayer as well. We have some scary stories here and there. So if you make sure that you subscribe to the channel, turn on your notifications, and you'll find out every time we're on. Wherever you're watching us from, and we are live right now on Facebook. I'm looking at my screen, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitch, and Instagram. We're live on all of those right now. So if you're watching me live, you're able to send me a message. I'm going to show you a sample message in just a second. Scrolling back to get to the first message. So the first message that came in is from Drishti, and she just says hello. And we can see that she's messaged in from YouTube because we've got like the little YouTube icon next to her initial, as opposed to Cam, who messaged from Facebook. So you can see the little F for Facebook right by her name, saying, hi, beautiful Inbaal, love Cam. Hi, Cam. So wherever you're sending the message from, unless it's Instagram, for some reason, Instagram doesn't integrate so well with the system, it ends up here on my screen, and I can flash up your message and welcome you, just like we're welcoming Maria Scorpio 92, who says hi. Marcus says, strange, it's just come up with invalid argument. What is that? Was that when you were trying to go onto the channel? I don't know. Daldal says, good afternoon, Inbaal. Afternoon or evening. Marcus says, I'm not sure where I'm from currently. I know. I get it. And Sabrina says, buenos tardes, Inbaal and Mark. Buenos tardes. And a big welcome to all Spanish-speaking communities. Big week. So, and did you see, I made an effort not to say it in like European Spanish, where it would have been tardes. I was like, no, I'm going for the Latin vote. Let's do tardes. I really hope somebody appreciates it. Marcus is saying hi, sweetie, to Sabrina, and he's also saying it was when I posted my usual hello and welcome. Oh, was your message rejected? How rude. But I was mentioning to somebody just today how when you mix psychics and technology, all sorts of odd things can happen. So we've got Living Purpose here saying hi, Inbal, hi. And a very Sabrina appreciates. She says you said it beautifully. Thank you. I don't know if you could see how many like faculties of my brain were engaging and getting like a single word out nicely. So Drishti is asking, can I ask a question? Absolutely, you can. So we're looking at psychic development today. And so any psychic question really sort of fits in with the story. But what I wanted to look at was really sort of some practical ways for all of you to develop your psychic abilities. It's very important for me to share that the psychic gift is not something that belongs to a select few. It's a skill. It's a regular human skill that all people can develop if they want to. So, just sort of a little bit about my story, about my history. I wasn't raised in kind of a spiritual environment. I was raised in a very sort of get out for work hard all day, we believe in nothing kind of environment. So when I encountered the psychic world, it was with no tools at all. And I arrived to the psychic world via the tarot, and not just any tarot. I arrived at the psychic world via the Thoth tarot, which now, oh, look what nice cards are coming up. Which now, when I know a lot more than I did then, I realized that it's sort of quite a hardcore deck of tarot to start with. But I learned it. I picked up a lot of it myself. I was taught by a friend and basically sort of practiced. The way that I approached it was really sort of not particularly mystical, not particularly spiritual. I saw it as just like a tool that worked, right? And, and I still do, even though now I do see the mysticism in it, I do see kind of the spirituality in it. It's still very much a tool that works. And I would practice tarot readings on friends of friends, on relatives, anybody that would let me. Anybody. You would be amazed. If you were starting out with a tarot, you would be amazed how much people would be excited to receive a reading, even if you're just learning. Somebody who's not just learning is actually Dawn. Look at this message. I'm in awe, saying, gosh, I love it. Saying, hi, so this is Dawn. She's messaging us from Facebook. Says, just watching as I'm a working medium and I have been seeing spirits since I was 5 years old and come from 7 generations of mediumship. So that is such a gift to grow up in a family that can celebrate your abilities, that can encourage you, and that you're able to be like your whole self, your full self. What was the first thing that you saw? Can you remember? And did you find it like natural, or was it scary at all? I'd love to hear, Dawn, because those early experiences, I can only sort of remember teeny tiny things because I didn't have that kind of background at all. In my family, there was nothing like that. And so things that I remember, I only very vaguely remember. And I was taught, like I was sort of shown that they weren't really real. So I would love to hear more about it. And I'd love to know how you work as well, because I work with a tarot. If you're working mediumistically, then presumably you're working sort of more on vibes, basically. Oh, amazing. So Dawn replies, I kept hearing knocking on the door and smell and shadow. So you could, well, hear things. Knocking is like unmistakable, isn't it? So you could hear you could see kind of out of the corner of your eye like a shadow, and smell as well. And I love that because I've always been able to smell as well, but I didn't know what it was. So, you'd smell like somebody's cologne, or you might smell like a cake or a very typical dish that the spirit was known for, and that gives you confirmation right from the client. Just quickly, Sabrina is greeting Mark and saying about his birthday coming up. Yes, so during Mark's birthday, I will not be here. I'm going on holiday, so I'm missing next week. So he says my 44th, a week today. I'm not celebrating it. I prefer to celebrate 12th of January, which is another year surviving, right? The rebirth day when your life was handed back to you. And Dawn, the working medium watching us, is saying, I work with numbers. This must be exciting as the year changes, because we've just had obviously a new year, but we've got the Chinese New Year coming up as well. So the changes must be exciting. And Dawn says, I also see color. That's amazing. And have you always worked mediumistically, or did you sort of try your hand in sort of doing, regular jobs like day jobs to see if maybe that was, fun as well? Sabrina says, Eek, my first experience of seeing something was scary. My mom would dream of people who passed and passed that would send her messages. It's, did she ever like predict a passing in a dream? Do you know when you see somebody in spirit, but you don't know like logically they're in spirit yet? So what I was wanting to share with everybody were just sort of little ways, little methods of how to enhance your psychic ability, or how to prepare for a reading if you're about to give a reading. And there are so many different ways. So I'll just sort of mention a couple. And then if you guys want to mention your own ways, that would be amazing as well. Mark is just mentioning, it's another year past. So 5 years now. 5 years since you found your life back. That's incredible. And also with that new like rebirth day, that made you a Capricorn. And I can really see the Capricorn tendencies in how you've been since you're reborn compared to how before it was like Aquarius all the way. So personally, there are a few little ways that that I like to kind of enhance my skill, my gift, my ability before I started reading. And I was going to sort of show like examples, but I'm so underprepared. But the one thing that I did want to show, I've got right next to me. So wait, I'm just going to get it. One of the ways that I like to enhance my psychic ability just before a reading is using a crystal ball. Now, some crystal balls are actual crystal, and then they'll usually be like not very big. This one is, I think, smoky quartz, russulated quartz. I don't know. And some crystal balls are fortified glass, which is still cool. It works in a different way. But if I use either of them, and I've got actually neither of those are my favorite crystal ball. My favorite crystal ball is in one of the boxes behind me. I'm trying not to reach for the boxes, but the night is still young, and I might still find that I want to reach behind me. But what I find is that when I work, even if I'm not reading the crystal ball, when I work near the crystal ball, even if I'm just doing a tarot reading, this works like an antenna where it absorbs energies, and it enhances the signal. So I think some of you might be a little young to remember what it's like to need to adjust the antenna on a TV set. But this is what this does, that if you've got like more than one antenna, you might be able to absorb it a little bit, to absorb the vibes a little bit better. And of course, it doesn't have to be a crystal ball. For some people, maybe if you're an earth sign, having crystals, sorry, they're about to jump, having crystals near you as you're doing the reading could enhance it a lot. The crystals I've got here, there seems to be kind of a raw amethyst, I've got like a polished amethyst. There's a lapis lazuli. This is dark blue. It's not lapis, I'm guessing agate. And teeny tiny little clear quartz. I don't even know why they're in the crystal ball box. I'm assuming that the last time I had to use the crystal ball for party booking, I also took these. But these are all kind of different versions of the same way of honing, of kind of increasing your reach with the crystals. So we've got, I'm just about to show you a few messages, but before I jump into the messages that just arrived, there's hello, lovely, from Angel Clairvoyant. Is it the Angel Clairvoyant? Let me know if you're the angel, and when I say the angel, we both know exactly who I mean. If you're angel, and let's have a quick look at the other messages that have come in the meantime. Sorry, while I was talking. So Dawn says, I can also see passing coming. Yeah, so that's what I was wondering about, because dream work I find so fascinating. I think people that see things in dreams, for me, are like the most psychic people. It's like an unachievable level for me. I adore it. I find that it's sort of such a in your face part of the gift. It shows you exactly what is going on. There's no shadows or a corner of your eye. You just sort of see it like a movie, right? So I love people that work in their dreams. So Dawn can see passing coming. And more on dreams, Sabrina says, no, she dreamt of my grandmother the night my cousin died. She was told by my grandmother that she will receive a phone call the next day of my cousin passing. Right? Oh, that is heartbreaking. So it's more of a roundabout message, but still very direct. And Dawn says, by seeing passing, I see different faces around people. So that is fascinating. And I think really sort of for anyone watching, what you're seeing from this is that each way that a psychic work could be individual for them completely. And it's really important to keep that in mind if you're learning, because the way that you will express your psychic gift might not be the same way that your teacher or your mentor expresses their psychic gift. And there are no wrong ways. Any way that you get genuine information, any way is the correct way. And speaking of the crystals that we just saw, Dawn says a crystal will choose you as well. Yes, it will. And Marcus confirmed psychic abilities come in all sorts of ways. Mine through my hands now. Oh, bless you. Is probably sort of part of the rebrand of getting your life. And Angel Clairvoyance says, I've got masses of crystals recently, a dragon crystal. And because I asked, are you the angel? She says, yes, great to see you. How are you guys managing with the rain up there? So Angel is now kind of local to me. It's still like an hour's drive. But I knew her when I was sort of still living in London. So when I first came up here, it was sort of incredible for me to be, to be relatively near. And Marcus knows exactly who it is, saying, "Oh, Angel Clairvoyant, not seen you in yonks if it's you." Um, you know, Mark used to work on Option Zero under a different name, and he's moved about a bit, but he's in Halifax now. So we're the Yorkshire crew. I'm not from Yorkshire. Mark's not from Yorkshire, but we are the Yorkshire crew. Dada says, "Oh, this is good news." Saying, "I was able to use my crystal ball last week for the first time. Tell us all about it." This is exactly the environment that we want to hear about. So, were you reading the images that you could see on it? Or did it kind of transmit the information straight to your mind, not going sort of via your eyes? Did you hear things? Tell me all about it. This is exactly the kind of stuff that we want to know here. Angel says, "Tis Angel." Amazing. And Dawn says, "I do teach work with spirit." Amazing. And then when you teach, would you agree that your students will sort of each find their own different way of expressing their gifts, so that no two people are exactly alike? And Dawn says, "I'm also a Reiki practitioner." Amazing. I think it's beautiful because obviously you started at 5 years of age, so there's probably nothing that you haven't done. You probably sort of touched on all aspects of the psychic world. Sabrina says, "At night, I listen to high vibration music for grounding." Oh, that is a really, really amazing idea, because it can ground you, but it also sort of keeps you connected, to those places. Daldal says, "I dreamt a man turned into dust, or was it reality? What could it mean?" So somebody turning into dust, first of all, I think they've got that in one of the superheroes. So I'm not a big, big superhero person, but in the last Spider-Man, which I'm sure it's not really going to spoil for anybody, it's a bit of a spoiler. So all the three sort of major recent year Spider-Man are all Spider-Mans are all sort of working together, and like all the villains from all of them are in the one movie. And there's one chap that when is it's either him turning into sand, or he makes people or things turn into sand. I don't remember exactly. Like I said, it's not exactly my genre, but it's clearly something that is like that you didn't that it didn't happen to you for the first time, right? So the concept of turning into dust, turning into sand did exist. What I'm hearing from what you're saying is that, is it somebody that you know, or is it somebody that was like completely new in that dream? Because when you describe it to me, it sounds like metamorphosis. And when you have metamorphosis in a dream, or even in a regular wakeful reading, metamorphosis will represent like an inner change for the person. So if it's somebody that you know, then they could be going through an inner change. They could be experiencing trauma, healing from trauma. It could be a change they're deciding on. But that dust to me is metamorphosis, like the death card, right? Rather than a change on the outside, like moving house. Do you know what I mean? So I feel like it would be a change on the inside. But yeah, let us know if it's somebody that you know, or if it was just like a symbolic, general person. Dawn says yes about students, some faster than others. Some come like really, really psychic. I feel like in it has been very fortunate for me that I have often taught people that I view as they are so much more naturally gifted than I am. And then it's, it's a joy, it's a privilege to teach them. And then some people are much less, compliant and much harder to teach because because their nature is not really there. Marcus says, really happy for Angel Clairvoyant. I know, how exciting. And Dawn says very wisely, we are always learning as mediums. Yes, that is correct. Yeah, you never stop learning. That's right. So Angel says, if possible, could I have cards for my art career? Done lots. Absolutely. Let's take some cards for your art. So I'll take 3 and then hopefully it'll give us like some time progress. Listen, the reason you did all the art is because you needed to get it out of you. Those creations were inside of you, they were needing to come out. So it's not that you did it in order to sell. You paint in order to paint. And then the time comes to sell. And I feel that that's when you panic. And when you look at the selling aspect of it, you immediately think, well, I can't really compare myself to other people. I don't know that I'm doing as well as other people. And you get in in a drama in your own head, Angel. And it says that what you need is like a collaboration where instead of you selling your art, you focus on arting your art. You paint, you collaborate with a friend, and that friend gets a certain percentage for every creation that she sells for you. And she is just wonderful at selling. So what you need is like an arrangement. And then that will be, that'll be the direction that the career goes. Um, Rahu says, I want to learn. Sick of hearing ringing, seeing numbers, and being awakened around 3 and 6 in the morning. Learning is wonderful. And I've got a few completely free meditations on my YouTube. So if you pop to Inbaal, official Inbaal YouTube, just have a look at opening and closing of chakras, and that helps kind of tone you psychically so that you're able to tidy up the information that you're getting. Dawn says, I listen to white noise to shut down. Yeah, I find that sort of people say to me, do you open up and close down? And I say, well, after this many years, I've got all the tips and tricks on how to open up and how to close down, but I personally don't use them anymore because, when I sit down and I just do this, it's already open. When I put it to one side, that's it, it's over. But for people that are learning, because Dawn teaches as well, then maybe white noise would work for you for shutting down as well. Dawn says, I so need to let go of things with the hands disappear. Interesting. Dal Dal from the dream says a complete stranger. So if that complete stranger is turning into dust, then in the dream, it could represent you. It could represent a metamorphosis that you are experiencing. If it's not somebody you know, if it's not somebody that you recognize or identified, then it could be an aspect of yourself. Rahu says, why do I feel like the dream are more realistic than this 3D reality? For a lot of people that are perhaps more of an attuned soul, the dream does feel, more aligned with who you are, more realistic. Um, the 3D reality is reality, but at times it can be so bonkers, so out of the loop that, I think a lot of us have been thinking, especially recently, is this real? Is this real life? So I know what you mean, but, and this is something that really sort of I say to anybody that asks this question. So it's not just for you, that so don't feel targeted, but we still live on this earth plane, and you still need to live a life that will work for you on this earth plane. Eventually, we will all end up in the clouds. I'm a huge believer in an afterlife. So, we're going to the good place in the end. But in the meantime, it's still important to forge your life, here on this world. And Rahu, and again, oh no, Rahu Records, is that right? Saying, I guess I'm supposed to pay for this. You're very welcome to, but not during the show. During the show, you can enjoy a little reading, chat with people who are on the same wavelength as you. We don't have anything chargeable on the show itself, so knock yourself out. Sabrina says, sometimes I just know something is going to happen. I can't explain it. I'll have dreams sometimes. I really like the ones that give good news. Do you know what? I don't even have like prophetic dreams that much. And still, if I get good news in a dream, and I know, like, based on bitter experience, that it'll stay in the dream, there my dreams for some reason are not plugged into reality, I still walk around in such a positive mood. um Angel says, thanks, makes sense. Metagirl did first table this year. People loved colors. You are so talented. Your art is wonderful. It's so amazing. So I'm pleased that people are responding to it. Fabulous. You see how well Laura is doing with combining like her um art career and her psychic career. And it's like no clash at all. You've been doing both like for literal years, for like longer than some of us have been alive. So I'm pleased that this is working for you. Dal says, I said a prayer to my crystal ball and focused the energy on the crystal ball, started tingling in the forehead, and then images came in. Amazing. So what you did is kind of is use the crystal ball like an antenna, and the energy of the crystal ball from the crystal ball will still be like universal energy that is kind of synthesized, and then that enhance your own energy, and then you started seeing images. That is beautiful. So just so that you know, if you can do it with the crystal ball, you can also do it without the crystal ball. Any tool that you use, it just enhances your own innate, born, universe gifted ability. But I am so excited that you're doing this, and I really hope you get a lot of practice in. Practice makes better. Practice makes perfect. The more you practice, the better you will be. Aisha is here saying, when will I meet my love partner? Seeing a lot of arranged marriages proposals. Amazing. Oh, it's very nice to be popular, isn't it? So you're seeing a lot. When do you meet the love partner? So soon, like it's crazy. So I'm going to show you the card that came up. What you want to focus on is the number, because there's a few cards with no numbers. Let me show you. I can't find one. Wait. So out of 78 cards in the tarot, 16 don't have numbers. That's okay. Right on top. And 22 have like the Roman numerals, 21, 22. And then all the others have like these numbers. And sometimes when we look at like time scales, then I'll see, 5, and then have the message in my mind that it's like 5 months or 5 years or whatever. So the card that you got is the very unusual and very unique card with the number 0. What it means is that the question you asked, when, it's like in 0 months, 0 weeks. So either the person that you will form a love relationship with, you've already met, or you just about to meet him. So keep us posted and let us know when we can congratulate you. Dawn says, because dreams are like a telephone giving you message to work out. I love the way you said it, because it really shows that you teach. When you explain things in sort of real, down to earth, like regular life item ways, that's how you know this person teaches psychability, teaches psychic development, and it is, dreams can be like a telephone, in an interesting way. Any of the psychic connection, like tarot can be as well, but in a dream it is like a Zoom call to the future, a Zoom call to to the other side. Aisha, yes, already posted the question. Angel says, think I got blocked as 2 pals passed over 2025. I'm so sorry for your losses. It life happens, and when the work that you do is divine, such as your art, such as your readings, then when your soul feels low, then it's hard for your soul to share itself, obviously, right? But it sounds to me like you've charged past the blocks, and this is it. Now you're unstoppable, and now you're unstoppable with an extra 2 people on your spirit team. That's good people. They're fresh, they're new, they're on your side. Angel says Laura's art's beautiful. It is. Did you see her book? So her book doesn't have her art, but Laura's written a book for people to learn how to work with the runes. Look at that. Isn't it incredible? Every time I open it, I lose my place. So I'm trying not to open it. So it's not actually her illustrations inside, but it is all of her words. I don't know if you knew. You probably know. Sold out at Witchfest. Marcus says, can't post. Still invalid code, but you're posting. I can see your postings. I will keep listening in the background. I'll keep trying to post this. I got it. I'm so sorry that this is like awkward. Sabrina says, can I ask a question? Absolutely. If I let the universe handle my current situation with the other parent, will it all work out in my favor? Let's see. So if you just leave it up to them, does it still work out in your favor? Overall, yes, but it doesn't get there. It doesn't get to your favor in one straight line. It goes up and down. So when this came up for the yes, right, up, down, left, right, I was like, all right, is it a no? But actually for the no, we got a much worse card. So that means that yes is the answer. Will it all work out in your favor? Yes is the answer. But the way that it works out is just not as straightforward as you'd have hoped. So some parts will be kind of dragging you down, but overall you do get in this winding path, on this winding path, you do get the final outcome that you were hoping for. So it's a yes. Dawn says, Most clients that come to me have their third eye closed, but in groups soon start to open up in a few weeks. Do you know what? That's so interesting because I never learned in like a, in like an organized way, or, with somebody as gifted as you. I've had to like figure things out for myself really a lot. And I used to work like in a psychic fair. So it'll be like seven of us, table by table, and we'd each have like a row of clients coming to us. And I'm not very strong at mediumship, but when I would sit next to a strong medium, I would be like amazed with how much more I could get. And I was like, well, it's her gift manifesting through me. So I really believe what you say, that, that in groups, people have a way of kind of supporting each other's energy, enhancing each other's energy. That's amazing. Dal Dal says, thank you for your support. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Absolutely. Sabrina, reassuring. Marcus, um, Aisha saying, thank you. You're very welcome. And Violet Prince says, hi. Hi. Great to have you here. Marcus says, thanks, Sabrina. It's been a pain though. And yep, I have that book in. Yeah, Mark has Laura's book. Are you getting on with it? And and you get a mention at the back, a little mention. But yeah, how are you getting on with it? It's quite an easy read, isn't it? Laura's very good at explaining things. So the topic I wanted to talk about was how to enhance your psychic ability. We looked at the crystal ball and the crystals, and obviously both Sabrina and Dawn had mentioned about music. Music can ground you, but music can also help you open up. And I mentioned to Rahu Records that I've got like my free meditation for opening and closing your chakras. So those are a few little ways of enhancing your psychic gift. I wanted to touch on just a couple of other ways. So first of all, essential oils. I really believe in the magical properties of essential oils, and there are a few. I'm trying to think what they would be. Perhaps lavender, just because lavender is good for everything. Frankincense, which is a very magical fragrance. And maybe a magical fragrance like Lang Lang, that will open your third eye, that will enhance your psychic ability. So if you're about to give a reading, or if you're about to like do a meditation that that is meant to enhance you psychically, go with a bit of essential oil. Wear it like a perfume, or I don't know about you, but I like putting essential oils in the hair because, having oil in the hair is also like very beneficial for the hair. And in the hair, it stays there, right? And then when you shampoo it out, you get a whiff of it again. But essential oils will kind of transport you because the sense of smell is sort of very timeless. It might remind you how to connect psychically, even if you bump into that smell in a shop, or if that smell suddenly sort of gets added to your favorite room fragrancer. So essential oils is one way, and I want to be talking about candles as as the one final thing in a few minutes. Cam says, can I have a card for March, please? Thank you, Cam. Absolutely. Let's take a card for March for you. Oh, look at this. This, my friend, is the Ace of Discs, Ace of Coins, Ace of Pentacles. This is a card for New beginnings with work, which we've been waiting on. We've been waiting on new beginnings with work for you. It's a card of financial luck, financial success, gifts. So March is an incredible month for you when it comes to work and finances. Now, keep in mind that the first 20 days in March, right? That's a lot. The first 20 days in March are inside the Mercury retrograde. So it could be that your luck is in. It's just that the email that tells you about your luck hasn't come through. So the card is incredible, but I'm just being a bad friend and reminding you that we've got the Mercury retrograde starting. Oh, it's not starting for another 16 days, but I can already sense it. Sabrina says, yay, truth and justice serve. Yes, it's in a roundabout way, but as long as the outcome is the outcome. Sabrina says, oh, I have to order Laura's book. It is fabulous. I did Laura's Zoom Zoom course, like three long lessons, and she's such a fabulous teacher, and she's just so creative in how she sort of makes the runes accessible, because there's something about the runes that is very closed off, isn't it? It's not like the tarot that you can sort of figure out what it is if you just look at it. The runes are just some lines, and so she makes them accessible, and she explains like how and why the lines are there, and like the history behind them, and like the poems. It's fabulous. Lady Thistle says hello, 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 hello. Marcus says, yeah, it's an easy read, midway through it now. Amazing. And Angel says, Laura's book does look good. I've been starting learning runes. No better way to start. And Sabrina says, I like using rune for candle magic. Yeah, that's my love as well. I love a sigil. Love, love, love a sigil. And I love like a runic sigil, because it's so easy to sort of put that on a candle. Marcus, greeting Lady Thistle. As Mark is saying, I've been doing a lot of inner work and connecting my higher self, spirit, ancestors. Are there any particular deities or angels that I need specifically to work with? Absolutely. So if we're looking, so angels, I don't know that much about. I know a little about the archangels, but it's in a really sort of complex, slightly, shall we say, unreachable, Kabbalistic way. Goddesses, on the other hand, so connecting to, just start with Hecate, is all I'm going to say. Hecate is the goddess of witches. I've got the Hecate book. Are you on the Avalonia mailing list? Hecate, this one is the big book. There's also a Hecate small book. That's it's not their official name. So the small book is called Hecate Keys to the Mysteries. The big book is called Hecate Her Sacred Fires. It is by Avalonia Publishing. That belongs to Sarita. Oops, have I got it upside down? Belongs to Sarita. And I contributed to the first book, to the small book, which is why I don't have it on the shelf, because books I contributed to are in the special shelf in the other room. But Hecate is a great start. She's the goddess of witches, goddess of the crossroads, right? So as you're going through life, obviously. And she's very inclusive. So she touches on lots of different kind of parts of life. Hecate was, of course, in the Eleusinian mysteries, she was the guide and guardian of Persephone into the underworld. And you who has been in the underworld would resonate with it. and obviously guide and guardian. So start with Hecate, other goddesses will come to you. But if you're searching for a good place to start, that, take that as your, as your cue to start. Sabrina says, and your abundance medication it on my night playlist. Thank you for mentioning. Actually, it's another completely free resource, but on my YouTube, on official Inbaal YouTube, I'll show you the cover of it. I've got a lovely abundance meditation. I was wanting to show you like the abundance meditation on my phone, and the first thing I see is me live with you right now. Let's look at the abundance meditation for you. Official Inbaal. Yeah, that's me literally live. Let me silence myself. And Inbaal Psychic. No, why can I not find it? There we go. Videos. So the abundance meditation is the video with a big A for abundance. It's a 10-minute affirmation session. And you can have it like playing in the background, and it's got music on it from my friend Eliseo Mawaz Pinto, who is a wonderful creator, and the music is like a specific frequency of music that encourages wealth. So yeah, I recommend it. I made it. I recommend it, but it's completely free. You can enjoy it. Dawn says you can also hold a crystal to help you, as well as natural plants. That's such beautiful tips. Thank you. You've really enhanced the show tonight, Dawn. Mark says, well, folks, it's the last 10 minutes since you sent it, a few minutes past. So thanks, Inbal. Make sure to join Inbal and Laura on Thursday brunch, because that's it for a week, because then Inbal's on holiday. Yes, that's right. I will be on holiday. Marcus says, a well-deserved holiday, can I add? So this message is for you, Marcus. So you asked about like angels to work with, and Dawn says Angel Michael, presumably Archangel Michael, I use for inner work. Is that the same one that you use as well, Sabrina? So just before we finish, one final way to help when you're doing a reading, when you're developing, when you're working psychically, is very simply to light a candle. Lighting a candle is a way to connect to the other worlds, to the other realms. It's a way to kind of say a little prayer. A candle with the flame, and with the flame kind of going up to the heavens, connects you kind of back and forth, and helps you carry forward the devotion that you might want to carry, and also helps you absorb whatever it is that you need to absorb. So a plain candle, whatever you've got, is also yet another little way of developing and enhancing your psychic gifts. So we looked at lots of little ways, little tips. Mary saying hi, Curtis. Curtis saying hello, Mary. Lots of little ways, little tips to enhance. I really appreciate everyone joining in. I'm going to read the final few messages. Now, next Tuesday, I will not be here because I will be on holiday. The Tuesday after that, I will be back. So if you watched for the first time today, make absolutely sure that you've got your notifications switched on, that you've subscribed, that you know when we're on, whatever works for your time zone. I'm here at 10 p.m. on a Tuesday UK time. It's 5 p.m. on a Tuesday, Eastern time, and Pacific time makes it 3 o'clock, right? No, it's about 2 o'clock. 2 o'clock Pacific. And Dawn just reminds us, also remember, let the candle burn away. And Dawn says, thanks, love listening to you live. Thank you so much. Anyone that didn't catch us live or that just sort of jumped in right now, just before we finished, we will be hopefully uploading the whole lot for you to enjoy on catch up whenever is right for you. So if you want to join me and the lovely Laura on Thursday, that'll be at 11:30 a.m. on the Thursday UK time. In the meantime, that is goodbye for me. Bye.